Hey guys, I want to talk to everyone about the major tech platforms based in the US and also in Europe, and especially the US here, and why I would avoid using them as much as possible, no- irrespective of the kind of platform. Okay, so we all know about like YouTube and Twitter, Facebook, these ones. There's a lot of other applications such as Udemy and education platforms of this nature, Coursera. These platforms all have the same common theme, and that's that you're renting space on these type of platforms. And many people may not know that I was actually selling online courses through Udemy, and my account was recently suspended. It was very unclear why they did this, but I get the same impression that I got with Kickstarter a couple years ago, that once you start getting a lot of traction and success, they just ban your account. It's just ridiculous, honestly. This obviously happens all the time with YouTubers and people in the media and video space, and this is just a huge problem. Now, unfortunately, in the era that we live in, these platforms often aggregate a huge segment of the world onto these platforms that want to purchase education material. Now, with that being said, though, if you launch a course and you only have it up for a few months and then your account gets suspended, this is kind of a catch-22. And also, in most cases, you're just better off launching your own platform or your own site and selling your courses via your own real estate, virtual real estate here, because you'd be better off getting very slow amount of traffic in the first like 6 months, not having a lot of viewers, but eventually getting viewers that come in and purchase courses, then getting a lot of viewers from the get-go like you typically would receive on Udemy or Coursera, but then having your account suspended after hardly making any money. But you've already put in all this work. It's just what it is. And yes, I do have these courses on other platforms, but that for me was the final straw that I need to build my own real estate. And many people also have mentioned this on my channel and other YouTubers in the MGTOW space. I can't speak for other guys, but some people will comment and say, oh, did you delete my comments and whatnot? And I'm like, no, I didn't. I don't delete any comments. It's not my real estate, as I've said many times before. If you're on this real estate, this is just the nature of the game. Lesson here that people really have to realize is that if you're one of these guys that are using YouTube thinking you'll make a lot of money as a quote YouTuber from your ad revenue, it's probably not a good way to approach your business. And this is just for practical reasons. It'd be like owning real estate that you rent and then you sublease, and at any point you could be kicked out of the apartment or house. The landlord could figure this out and you'd be done. And it's the same exact analogy. You got to have your own real estate. And I think perhaps guys of the older era who first got onto YouTube when it was at its very early stages, guys like Stefan Molyneux, that were on the platform for many, many years. He was putting out edgy content for years. Now, if guys had of his nature launched the same kind of channel and put out that kind of content, I don't think they would last more than a couple years, if that, probably months. I mean, we look at Nicolas Fuentes, not really my style, but a pretty well known in the political space, and he was only able to make it for like a couple years, and then his channel got suspended. And now he's smart in that sense that he realized he needed his own real estate. And it's the same thing in many areas, whether you're fundraising like through a business like Kickstarter, or you're selling courses, you're any kind of online platforms. You can use it as a way if you need like fast money, or you want to build up visibility to your own brand or business. Same thing with YouTube. Use YouTube to draw people to your own business or brand. But long term, often it's just not a viable situation. This is just a reality. I'm fortunate that, like I said, I have redundancy in place, and also my main source of income is actually via day trading and swing trading in the stock market. And fortunately for that, you're not tethered to any special kind of platform, we might say. I mean, you do have your like broker platform, but that's completely different here. That is something totally separate, and it's different situation. But also realize that these platforms, they are huge pushers of political propaganda. I mean, like Udemy, for instance, has this like rainbow thing on its banner page on the front page that I know stands for the Gay Pride Month, and this is what a lot of these platforms, like especially ones based in the U.S., California, they all push the same propaganda. It's just nauseating. I mean, even in some European countries, they won't push this nonsense, and that's what you're funding often. And also, even if you do make a good sum of money from a platform like Udemy, you're really only making peanuts compared to what the owners and the executives, what they're bringing in personally. I mean, the executives, of course, could be making several $1 million salaries with their stock options, and the owners obviously could be billionaires. And then creators a good one may make, I mean, several thousand in a month, but note there's not many that make that, and compared to people who run the company, it's way less when you do the comparison. And that's why you just want to stick with your own real estate. That's what I realized from this experience. And you can't trust any of these platforms. They shut you up, they silence people, they're untrustworthy, honestly. It's very parallel to the nature of California to Silicon Valley. It's not an open dialogue, free speech culture whatsoever, and that's where we're at now in our society. But if you do get started with one of these platforms, just know that you should have kind of a second or third either platform you're launching courses on, or you could also be getting your own website built and sell courses that way. It's always best to have your own real estate in most cases. I think even in the near future, I think YouTube is going to really decrease its audience size as more and more channels as more and more creators lose their accounts. There's no question people will leave the platform, or viewers will leave the platform, and other platforms will really build up in popularity. Just my opinion here. So if you have any feedback below, give it to me, and thank you.